by more than 238%. Sometimes tough decisions need to be made in the best interest, because the houses belong to all the people of Nairobi and the people of Kenya. So, Chair, we see that within the next 18 to 36 months, when we'll have concluded, because we have JVs of urban renewal in 9 estates, then that revenue from rentals for these people of Nairobi is going to, you can compare 8,000 houses that I found to 73,800 houses. It's really going to go up. But for a period, when you're doing that construction, you will lose that revenue. In only areas, and I agreed, we had an issue, and my senator gave very good suggestions of where there's an open space, you begin with constructing, like Jericho. We said minimal disruption, You start with constructing in that where there's an open space. Then once that has been built, you decant and you move the people into those completed buildings. We're about to conclude the Divanji and the bachelors that have been stuck for many years before you got in. We've helped them refinance it. And we're about to conclude actually between December, actually next month, and mid next year. Both of those things should be done. So that is where we are, Chair. And what I want to add, again, I got a suggestion from here, is a signage in some of those estates that this painting of your buildings has been paid for by your taxes. This road in the estate, this beautification is paid for by your rent. So that people can see the value of being, on time, and that we value the rents that they pay.
So Auditor, you're saying that we didn't have aging analysis, listing of revenue, arrears, and you're saying that it has been given in soft copy, you're still reviewing it, but we want you to give us comfort that do you have the list of all the debtors which should account for this 1.5 trillion? Do you have the list of those debtors? We are still reviewing also. We give it time.
It is still work in progress, Chair.
Governor, do you think you have listed all the debtors?
Yes, Chair, we've listed, but remember, this is not a static list. If you can give the list, then somebody pays, or somebody then sort of the debt.
No problem, but
so,
at least have we given a list?
Yes, we've given all documentation. And they have access, we can give them full access to the system, such that when there are changes, and somebody pays, depending on the time in the financial year, they can be able to see and update it as we move ahead.
Okay, think and progress varies between reported revenue.
Sure. Just note that at the aging analysis by age list there, the percentage exceeds the 100% by 0.1%.
What's that again? Just come again, please. Just point us where you understand.
Yeah, and that annex, the annex we are referring to, that contains the aging analysis table, the percentages shown there that range from less than 1 year to more than 3 years exceeds 100% by 0.1%.
Governor?
Yeah, that is just simple rounding, the number of decimal points.
Okay.
So you have that.
It's about 1.5 billion. Maybe what you have.
Okay.
Yeah, if you put the full decimal, this is wrong. If you see 96.95,
yes,
it's a rounding error. It is not the percentage. If you round it off to the nearest, 5 or 10, that's when you use it. But the actual numbers are there. So the percentage is just for illustration.
Governor, but that has a meaning when you say you round off and you round off to 100.01%. It has a meaning.
Dr. Lagos then looked at statistics. So, okay.
Remember, the error that Uhuru committed the country into debt.
Yes.
So even if it is 1.5.
Yeah, we can give the full decimal points. Yes. For the comfort of my friend Senator Kusabur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
but the specific numbers, the actual numbers, are what is listed above there.
Okay. Yeah. Dr. Ling, that's okay. So there's a variance between reported revenue and transaction schedules. Auditor, what is still outstanding in that query?
Thank you, Chair. What is still outstanding is the reconciliation of the balances.
Governor, you're not able to reconcile. Your officers are not able to reconcile, to do reconciliation. What do you have to say?
Chair, the reconciliations were done. What was not seen was 3 M-Pesa transactions, when M-Pesa sweeps, and they were swept, I think, over 2-3 days. We've attached those appendices, coming to 32.9 million shillings, which are 3 days collection. The impact received in the county bank accounts, we have the statements, we have an Appendix 2A, which is the reconciliation of the transactions, 2B, which is the extract from the M-Pesa statements of 3 transactions worth 32 million, the extract of corp bank statements confirming receipt of those amounts into the utility account, closed accounts transfers to CRF, that is 2D, and reconciliation statement.
Auditor, am I reading these figures correctly? The variance is not 32 million for the 3 M-Pesa transactions only. There is a variance of, is that 2 billion? I'm seeing.
Yes, it's 2 billion. That's quite substantial, Governor.
Yeah, that is the hospital's revenue. I'll ask my chief officer for the receipt of revenue to actually explain completely. Normally when we report, we report our entire amount. That is what comes into CRF, plus the FIF amount that goes to the hospitals. We report all of it, but I think it is audited differently. It is because you remember the hospitals are audited as their own entities, and for that we come to the Public Investments Committee. So that normally gives you that difference. You hear when I say we collected 13.8, but the auditor will say it is, as the executive, it is only 12. But I count all of it as revenue that has come.
Governor, where are you reading that information? Because on your reference here, there's no such explanation. You have given the explanation for the...
Just maybe, Governor, for us to go neatly, can we just go through maybe the response? We see how it...
it is in my response.
Yes,
the variance resulted from monies not being swept into the CRF, which are utilized in our county hospitals, which is what I'm saying, morgue and the liquor fund, supported by legislation that utilizes funds at source. That includes the FIF. A number of bank accounts that were closed by the county also swept their balances to CRF as per attached appendix, also contributing to the variance. The same was presented in the receiver of revenue statement provided to the Office of the Auditor General within the stipulated timings. The county maintains adequate books of account relating to revenue collection and debt management, and then now what I read, the 3 M-Pesa transactions. That is all in the response, Chair.
Auditor, okay, so that's I'm
looking at the reconciliation.
As you look at the reconciliation, Secretary again, just for the mind.
Yeah, Chair, I can see on this issue of reconciliation, I thought it should be something that is more simple. Number 2, the Governor, looking at your county own source revenue, I don't know whether COP is here today. I don't hear whether control of budget is here.
No.
It's not here.
I have an apology, yeah.
Yeah, because looking at, you were trying to explain initially, looking at your own county own source revenue, you have collected more than 12 billion. One of the items that affects your overall revenue is fire inspection certificate. It has fallen from 254,989,561 to 58 million.
Senator, I think we'll go to that, yeah? We'll come to that.
I thought it's about the variance. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll touch on the variance.
It's discussing about the 12 billion. That's why I'm generating from.
Is it, sorry,
or
Chair.
which of the queries do you want to come from?
Is it variance of target or variance of actual collection?
No, the query we're dealing with is the variance of actual. Isn't it? Variance of
Chair,
actual.
I've seen a document there for the reconciliation. What I want to understand from the Auditor General is what documents usually support such a reconciliation, because this is just
like the document you're looking at.
This is an extra 2E. An extra 2E is
there is
a reconciliation on variance. So what documents usually support this sort of reconciliation? Because this is just a piece of paper.
Thank you, Chair. So it was an issue of bank transactions, M-Pesa transactions. So we needed to trace the same to the bank statement.
So you have seen the bank statements that support this reconciliation.
Appendix 2E.
Yes, the bank statement.
That reconciliation, have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're okay?
Yes, we are okay with that.
With the reconciliation?
It's the extract of, there's the query on the difference of 32 million
Yes.
M-Pesa transactions.
Okay.
Those could not be traced in the bank statement, but they have given us an extract and we've been able to trace.
So what is still outstanding now? Just let's see if you can understand. Secretary Gay, there's something you want to say?
Yes. Chair, I didn't get the OAG because they didn't get from bank statements, and yet there was a variance of 2 million. So, Governor, apart from F5 accounts of hospitals, because we are dealing with this collection, before I come to my overall global question, is how many commercial bank accounts do you have?
Well, maybe I don't know the exact number. I can get it. But I was explaining again here last
No,
week.
I have assisted you, Governor. I've said I don't want F5 accounts because I know those are individualistic accounts.
I'll give you the numbers.
Yes.
I'll get the number.
Because
I don't know them off it.
It will point out to reconciliation.
I'll get the number.
But your people are there. Chief Officer, through the chair, your people are there. Chief Officer sits here.
Chair, we have one CRF account where revenue comes in. You know, that is the only place where the balances are reconciled. Apart from that, it is F5 accounts. The F5 accounts are the ones that hospitals hold. There are no two county revenue fund accounts. It's only one county revenue fund account.
Governor, I know that. I can see you have cooperative, you have equity, you have...
Those are collection accounts.
Collection. And that is what we were wondering, what are they used for? Is it for sweeping this revenue, or it goes directly to CRF?
They sweep daily to CRF. When a resident pays, Equity Bank, Cooperative Bank for this financial year, and only those two for the financial year in question. And those and M-Pesa.
I can see National Bank.
No. National Bank was closed.
Was closed.
Yeah.
So as of today, you only have three, this cooperative and equity.
As of today, we have one more, which is senior.
Which is senior.
Yes. But as of this audit, it's the ones I have listed.
I have not asked about senior.
But you have asked which accounts, what do you mean? You can't determine the answer. You have asked which accounts we have.
But this is under the year under review.
The year under the review is the accounts I have given you.
Okay. So that one on senior, Mr. Funa will ask. Finally, the one on the... I know how we'll go about it, so I don't want to remove the ice of that cake. Chair, just finally on this global figure, Governor, in the last, through the chair, the revenue potential is 63 billion for Nairobi City County under CRA, and you were sharp enough to develop simulations, especially during the formula, the third generation formula.
Yes.
But I can see you are doing badly. You are collecting 12 billion only. Where is 50 billion plus?
Chair, you can't say only. That 12 has never been collected in the history of the devolution by Nairobi or by any county. And this is a big amount. And I've said the challenges. I've explained the strategies that we have.
Let me just point out. Chair, can I finish my question?
Okay.
The governor can write it down, then he responds. Okay. I thought that is the neater way.
Okay.
And you know, in this country, we want to, the fact that Governor, this 12 billion, I just want to point out, like fire inspection, you drop from 254 million to 58 million. That is not number 7 in your financial statement. Your financial statement. I'm not using any other statement, and I hope colleagues can see this. Public health service fees, food handler certificate, you drop from 132 million to 106 million. Market fees, you drop from 250 million to 214 million. Chair, those are, I'm just giving almost 3 nets. So what justification can you tell us that despite that the revenue potential is 63 billion, you are collecting 12 billion, and you have heard us, we don't want to operate on mediocrity. The fact that somebody has underperformed does not mean you underperform. So my question is, if the CRA pointed out 63 billion, and now you are collecting 12 billion, what is the challenge you are facing as a Nairobi? Because we know Nairobi is a very important city county.
Yeah,
so what is the challenge?
Yeah, that is a very straightforward question.
Yes, Governor.
Those fire, food handlers, public health advertising have not dropped, they have increased. And they've increased significantly. Chair, let me explain. Allow me to answer.
Chair, on a point of order. I am reading the financial statement of the governor.
But then you can wait for the risk.
Can you wait a minute here?
No, can you look at this whole statement because it is on record, Chair?
Yeah, I think the miscommunication is that the governor is not restricting himself to the year under review.
I'm not about that
So it's about the financial year 23-24, right?
Yes.
So the statements that he's referring to are 23-24. Maybe you address that, then you can cross over into what has happened.
I want to answer on that one. That yes.
Why don't you let the governor
just let me give you the whole answer.
Yes.
You know, you'll understand it. It'll make a lot of sense. Chair, in the year under review, we created what we call a unified business permit. Previously, you would go get fire on its own. You go to Tomboya, you come to City Hall, you get advertising, you get food handlers, you get 6 different licenses. And a business would have 6 licenses on the wall. They have all been consolidated into one license called the Unified Business Permit. The Unified Business Permit has fire, has food handlers, has advertising, has pest control, all in one. So look at the increase in Unified Business Permit.
Where is that? Not what? Or not 3?
Yeah.
Not 3.
So, Governor,
From 1.6 billion to 2.3 billion.
If that were the case, Governor, we shouldn't see any revenue from fire.
You can still have, because there are certain entities that have a fire license without a unified business permit, because they only need a fire license. For instance, some professional services, you know, when somebody just wants to pay for fire alone, as a standalone, yet they're not people on a unified business permit, including different entities. So you have cases where there can be advertising revenue that is not the UBP one. For instance, for outdoor advertisers, etc., they pay for that alone. But for all business entities, what used to be previously single business permit is what has been consolidated. You have the single business permit, plus fire, plus food handlers, plus all of that into one. That's why you see an increase of 1.6 billion to 2.39. So that's what explains those reductions. So it's only those who pay standalone. Like, can I get many other examples? Who pays for fire alone? Churches, professions, maybe doctors, EPCs.
So let's just check again. Our market fees, we are paying dropped from 250 to 214. Do they also pay other fees that are unified?
Yeah, some people in the markets now have moved to UBP. Some traders, because we tell them, market fees, and it's an ongoing discussion. Many people pay what you call cess. That one you collect every day. But we tell them you cannot pay cess if you actually trade in that market every day. Cess is a temporary payment, like if you're getting into a city, etc. So we're transitioning many of them into having UBP. It's cheaper for them. Instead of paying 200 shillings every day, pay 5,000 shillings for the year. So it's an ongoing.
Look at this statement, page 4.
Yeah.
For market fees, we were told that under realization in this area was as a result of disturbance during the demonstration in the last quarter of that year.
Yeah, that's a weak reason, but it's true. The disruptions are a few days, but the main thing really is the transition according to UBP. And we're giving that campaign because we're telling the people in the market that the amount you pay every day for a year is much more than if you actually get a unified business permit. Cess is supposed to be a temporary, but people are used to it. Moving on from what they used to for many years into a new regime takes some time. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, Chair, the only advice we'll give the governor is when they are preparing the financial notes, let them just paint the proper picture so that we don't have these conversations where the things you're telling us are different from what is in writing.
Yeah.
And I think also, I agree with Senator Sifuna, this issue, like food handlers, the reason given here is totally different from what the governor is giving. What the governor is giving, so I think there is a disconnect. And if he is taking the advice of Senator Sifuna, you should advise Senator Sifuna more often to your office so that you don't have this disconnect.
Okay, you can make progress before.
But Chair, you know, I really need you to commend Nairobi for the revenue. You know, Senator Ngandi's county collects 200 million. Now he's questioning 12 billion.
Chair,
You
Chair,
commend
that
us
is
for the
totally
increase.
out of order.
That's what I like that.
Chair, standing order 101. If you want to discuss me, can
No,
you
not
bring
you.
a
I'm talking about other counties. We're doing
But
comparative.
that is
The one county.
Now we have to address.
Chair,
we have to
through the
address.
chair.
I will draw Nandi.
The fact that Nandi collects 200 million does not give us governor to look down upon us.
Yeah,
No, we're not looking down, Chair. That was on the right note. I'm saying.
No, he's trying to cast aspersion in
Yeah,
public
no.
that I don't have capacity to question 200 billion. Is it fair, Chair? And he cannot
Now
collect 50 billion.
let's make
What
progress.
is he saying?
Let's make progress.
I will draw that.
Let us
Withdraw and
apologize,
apologize, Governor.
Let us
Withdraw and
let us-
apologize.
they are
Chair, I
not-
must withdraw and apologize.
I apologize profusely.
Okay.
Let us make
I
progress.
think we need to make progress, but Governor, first of all, never look for praise for doing what you're supposed to do. That's your job.
No commendation.
Number two, no. Number two, if you are the tallest amongst dwarfs, you don't look for praise, because to whom much is given, much is expected. You have a revenue potential of over 60 billion shillings. You have had conversations with us on how we can help as a Senate for you to realize this money. Please, let us focus on that. Nobody is going to praise you in this Senate.
No,
you know that.
we go our own trumpet because it's complicated.
You
No one
can blow it
praise.
out there.
We're not the challenge.
Okay, let's
Again,
make
or
progress,
ourselves to
Governor,
praise.
Senator. Let's make progress. And go to number 3, irregular bank charges. Auditor, how are these bank charges irregular?
Thank you, Chair. The financial statements reflect bank charges totaling 68,424,242. They are irregular because they are not well supported. We are not able to tell how they came up, and also there are some rates that were charged, the basis of the rates. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, I know you must have gone through that query.
Yeah, that is true. And we've been writing to the bank about it. We're doing a reconciliation. We have the letters from the county from 4th November. They have the response. The last attempt was 4 months ago because we feel they charged us too much at that bank. They're not supposed to charge us that amount. And the correspondence is attached. If we don't agree,
When
of
does
course,
that correspondence?
Appendix 3A and 3B.
Yes, continue.
And I mean, it's a regular customer-client, dispute. And so, if it is complete, if we completely don't agree with them, then we look at whatever legal action that we need to take. But it's actually something that
You mentioned 3B and 3A. What is there in 3B and 3 and 3B?
there's a letter from the county, the receiver of revenue, who's sitting on my left, Taras Liroke, where is the request for explanation of exorbitant bank charges to Cooperative Bank.
What is the response that they gave you?
They have
They
said
replied at all.
yes, they have replied. It's the next document.
So what is the response?
Yes, they affirm that is their schedule. We dispute it. So we have a dispute on that. Yeah.
What is that they are saying there on paragraph 2? Just explain to me. They are saying of annexure 3B, Chair,
Yes.
that the bank charges daily ledger fees on the revenue collection accounts at a rate of Kenya shilling 70 only per credit entry plus excise duty. Is that to mean that every credit onto the revenue account, even if I pay 100 shillings, they take 70? Is that what it means?
Let me ask the receiver of revenue to explain in detail.
Please go ahead.
Yes, yeah, actually that's what they mean. And that is one of our contentions with them.
How is it a contention?
How is that acceptable?
It is unacceptable. That's why we are disputing.
But Governor, the problem is that you are waiting for the auditor to flag that transaction through a period of 12 months in a financial year. How can you not notice that? How is it even conscionable that if I pay for parking 100 bob and it's in the account, somebody takes 70?
They don't take it daily.
That's what the letter is saying, unless there is another
They
interpretation.
charge you after the fact. You know, so these are charges that come, you know, much later when they charge us. Of course, I mean, if we collect every credit, if we collect, you know, it's the same way like you don't pay rent every day. After a month, you're charged. So when they charge us, they're saying for every credit. I think that is completely, you know, exorbitant and wrong. You know, you cannot charge us that way. So if you look at the correspondence, and this correspondence comes after we've been talking. You know, sometimes there's, you know, phone calls, we go to the office.
So Governor, why does this correspondence then stop there? We are not seeing your protest from to the bank.
Chair, we have actually gone ahead and even written emails inviting them for this discussion for us to get a way forward. We have had a meeting and we are still going to have another meeting with them.
Tyrus, this is a year ago. We are in November of 2025. This letter came in November of 2024.
The most recent meeting, Chair, was I think around 3 or 4 months ago. And so this is a discussion that is ongoing.
Senator Fatima Dulu.
Chair, I just wanted to ask whether you have an agreement on the 70 shillings deduction, or it was just a slap on your face?
They just say they have a schedule.
Because the amount actually that they have deducted so far is about 67 million. That's a lot of money.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Chair, you
So
see, this is
there is
one
no
of the banks we have
agreement
moved away from. And it shows you some of the problems we've been having with this bank. And so it's something that, even if it's not resolved, we'll just take legal action. Because how do you explain somebody paying 100 shillings and you take 70? So it's not that they've taken the amount, they're charging us, you know, they're billing us. And we're saying that we cannot pay that. You know, those are charges we cannot pay.
Senator Mwendeka.
You know, Chair, there is no indication that Nairobi County is uncomfortable with these rates. There is no indication of protest, as Senator Spuda just put it. Because this communication ended just here.
We can share further correspondence, yeah?
Yes.
We can share emails that have been sent. We can have that. Of course, we're not comfortable. How can we be comfortable? And the biggest evidence is us moving away from there.
Yeah, we will come to that, Governor. Because in another committee, Chair, the Governor told us that the new bankers are giving us better rates. We would want to, we have not received that correspondence at the devolution committee yet.
We are waiting for the letter. We agreed that everything, you are there. I think it is before you left.
I just want to say something, Governor. You knew that this conversation was going to come up today. It would have been prudent for you to come with those documents today.
Anything that's requested of us, Chair, we shall provide.
Even maybe without the documents, how different is it from these charges?
Yeah.
Maybe for the other bank?
It is zero.
How comparable
They are not charging us per transaction. It is zero. That's the difference.
I have a small question. One is, I heard you have a legal attorney here. Is it, you know, if you'll bring 1,000 emails of just correspondence will not help to resolve the issue. The committee through the chair is looking, how have you escalated? Have you, apart from terminating doing business with them, how have you escalated this issue? Has it gone to APR? Has it gone number two? Number two, which the Mr. Ireri or Madam Ireri will advise, because that should be the work. Because if you are paying Governor from 27, is it 27 to 68 million is a lot. Number two, are all the banks or a number of banks, the one that I had mentioned, they were cooperative, they were equity, and then they were national.
It's cooperative.
It's cooperative. So a solution you have taken is to terminate their services.
No, they have to resolve that issue. Yeah.
But you have moved away, you are no longer banking with them.
No, we still bank with them, but we have created other relationships. You know, accounting can, because the collection account is still working. We still have our accounts with them. We've not closed.
No, but the question, Chair, I think the governor should
you know, Chair, you don't terminate. You know, it's not like my M-Pesa account. There are some outstanding liabilities with them. It's a process. But the transactions, the salaries, or the hospitals, for instance, we wrote all the hospitals to move. You know, and so it's a process that we're undertaking. You don't just close it in a day. Yeah.
No, I agree. There could be other. You know, Governor, just be precise. Other transactions based on this, have you stopped?
No.
So you are still paying 70 shillings?
No. to
Dr. Elegant?
please.
Then on Annex number 3B, what agreements are they using to recover as tabulated in the two tables there?
They're using their schedule, which is unilateral, and it is something we dispute.
So have they recovered the 28 million?
They are on the dates of the 5th of 6/05/2024, 6th of May, and the 18th of April.
But that's not your agreement with the banks.
Yes, that is not our agreement. That is why we got dispute. Because they're doing what we not agreed on.
But Chair, through the Chair, what kind of dispute do you have if you are just corresponding and meeting?
Disputing something is not agreeing with. Noting a dispute.
But which forum have you taken to ensure the outcome favors you?
Yeah, I think I've answered this question.
The letter was written.
We have written.
Yeah, the letter has been written.
We have not yet gone to court. We have not yet done it. Yeah, I've already answered that. I don't know what you can answer.
We have disagreed on
They have
the
disagreed, so I expected him to tell us, since it is not in the contract, we have challenged in another forum.
Not yet.
Then they will continue billing you, Governor, because they are saying here in this letter that they are doing auto recovery.
By the way, Governor, there are time limits within which you can claim money from someone. I'm sure the rate goes. There are time limits. What is it called? There are limitations of action. So you don't just take your sweet time because it might run out.
We won't take our sweet time.
But there's another question that I don't know if it has been answered from this query. They show the double entry. There's a double entry here. That was done on 11th April and another one on 6th May. In there? Oh, it's here. Let me just answer on record.
Which one, sir?
The double entry by pointing with the last paragraph. I think it's there. Further confirm that the 28 million and 4 million debit entry on account that dated that was cancelled the same day. Okay. I've seen that response. It's okay. So I think we can make progress now that I've seen response. Can we go to accumulated and collected ground rent and land rates, arrears and penalties? We must have discussed that in the other bullet, the first paragraph. So we can go then to bank balances, variances due to CRF. Auditor, what is still outstanding? 5. Bank balances, variances due to CRF.
Thank you, Chair. The reconciliation is still outstanding.
Just please project a bit to hear you.
Thank you, Chair. The reconciliation is still outstanding.
So the reconciliation, Governor, has not been done. What do you have to say?
Chair, I'll give my chief officer to give specific details on that, because we've given a reconciliation statement. I think it's a matter of not seeing eye to eye on it. Maybe it has.
Auditor, even before we get the response from the executive, you've looked at the reconciliation. It's not satisfactory. Or how do we mitigate on this?
Thank you, Chair. It's just an issue of maybe clarity we need to seek from them.
Yes, what clarity?
On some balances that are indicated.
Okay.
Chair,
Just give him an opportunity then.
Chair was explaining the amount of 1.15 billion was the revenue from hospitals. Then 270,747 was from our liquor pay. Those do not go into the CRF. That is what is under FIF in the hospitals. Mamalusi, Mbagathi, Pumwani, Mutwini, and the other 120 hospitals. And then from the liquor fund. So that is, but it's still the same auditor who audits also those, but there are different statements. Yeah. That is the reconciliation. Is there anything additional? Then cash in transit, on 2024, 11 million. So there's a table that we put on Appendix 5 that just shows that.
Got it, Sam?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the issue of the liquor in the hospitals, that one has been confirmed, is the aspect of the cash on transit, that's support.
Okay, that's how much? 11 million.
Yes, Chair. And the two
Cash in transit, Governor?
Yes. Yes, Chair.
Don't they say that we need to explain the cash in transit?
Thank you, Chair. The cash in transit is because we normally have set given instructions to the banks to sweep money to CRF every day at 11:59 p.m. So that money now reflects in CRF as that is collection. Now at the end of the financial year, that is on 30th June, if that sweeping was done, but then it had not hit CRF, what will happen is that it will not be in our bank statement, and then it will be in CRF for the next day, that is 1st July. So that is a difference that brings in this 11 million.
Auditor, you're not satisfied with that explanation?
Thank you, Chair. That is okay. We only need to go back and reconcile that with the statements.
So you look at the statements and reconcile?
Yes.
And see if that issue is resolved or not?
Yes.
Chair, out of curiosity, I thought the OAG say they normally meet with the entity and something about reconciliation. What is happening OAG? Or the clan is not cooperative?
No, we are still in progress.
Then why are you, these are things that you should have resolved at that level through the chair. You know, this is your report. So if you don't assist us in looking at it, it will be very difficult. Because you are saying you need to go back. I thought these are issues you are chair, you brought it out in management letter that should have handled them. So you will need to go back and sit with them again on the issue of reconciliation. The year 24-25. That's interesting.
Thank you. We can make progress. We have gaps in single business permit application number. Auditor, what gaps are these? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. We had transactions that did not have application numbers.
You can voice up a bit.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
We had transactions that did not have application numbers at the point of audit.
Okay, Governor.
So not query, you actually agree with us. When you apply, for instance, you do 10 applications, you get serial number 1 to 10. If serial number 4 and 5 are paid for, if somebody pays for those, they move from that list, they move to a paid list. So it is just an issue of sequencing. The management has taken cognizance of the gaps in application number sequencing of SPP and taken system configurations to be able to show that and to address that gap. Applying does not necessarily mean that they are on the paid list. Somebody applies for a UPP or the license. Now when they pay, it has to move from that into the list of rounds which have been paid. So you'll find a gap, you'll find maybe 4, 5 and 7 from 1 to 10 have been removed from that list. So those are the gaps that you will see because they move once that invoice has been paid. Yeah. So for instance, if 10 of us here apply for a license, the application will be number 1 for Miss Park, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. If Secretary again pays and Evelyn, there will be a gap in number 3 and number 5. So you'll have number 1, 2, 4, and 6. I don't know if...
Auditor, are those the gaps you're referring to?
Yes, Chair.
And is that explanation plausible?
It is, Chair, and we have the IT auditors on the ground reviewing the same, because this relates to the previous financial year.
Okay. So I think this is a matter we can keep in view.
Chair, just before you rule, while the explanation is noted, no reconciliation has been provided to confirm all 22,369 missing application numbers. Audit, these are your comments. So,
okay.
So, and then has been validation, and then the compliance of 60 period, because we are just reviewed. So what do you mean? And you needed to validate the agenda system loss. Chair, because it was our recommendation vis-a-vis the implementation period. So where are we? 60 days have lapsed. So I do know 60 days in Nairobi is not good. Can you clarify that?
In fact, our recommendation was that the county recommends that the county executive should fully automate their revenue collection to seal the gaps in the application number sequence and submit a status report. Do we have the status report to the OAG? That is what we should be asking for. Auditors. Are they fully automated now? Really?
Thank you, Chair. The audit is in progress. That is why we do not have the final figures.
Okay. But Governor, now full automation now?
Yeah, Chair, remember, there's a move in the system of accounting. We're working with OTA because now, when you move to accrual, the move in the accounting basis, applications will all actually be receivables. So we're working with them to configure, the system to reflect that. That is an ongoing thing. And I think all counties should be in that process, and the national government entities. There's that move in the accounting standards, and I'm glad we have this part.
Chairman, there was a request from this committee for the Office of the OAG to do a systems audit in Nairobi County. That's what the director is referring to, which is ongoing, being carried out by different teams.
So you are saying the systems audit is ongoing?
Yes, Chairman.
And if we finish that systems audit, then we should be able to have a report.
Exactly, Chairman.
Can you rely on that to mitigate on this query?
Yes, Chairman.
So that don't be left on it?
Yes, Chairman.
But Senator Sakaja, oh, it's okay.
Something I wanted to remind the Chair, because it might have escaped your memory, on the system audit report. But what I need Muriki to tell us, because we requested like a few months ago, how far is it? How long will it take? Is it almost ready?
Where are we, Muriki?
Chairman, please allow me to get back to the office and come back to the committee.
Okay. All right. Okay. 7, failure to provide ledgers. Failure to provide ledgers. Auditor, what is still outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. This is related to the year 2023-2024. So it is still under review as the team looks into 2024-2025.
But Governor, why would someone fail to provide ledger?
Governor?
I think, Chair, the issue was there was a difference in our ledger balances, which we provided and
No. But is that the question, Senator Spooner? The question is, why did you
telling you that there are ledgers worth, I think this is 10 billion, whose ledgers were not provided for audit verification.
That is the question.
Chair, if you look at the committee, the second bit above there, ledgers provided, however, the ledger balance is now 11.4.
That is not the question. The question is just, why didn't you provide the ledgers? Where were they?
Were the ledgers present in the county at the time of audit?
Yes, Chair, they
You
were
failed
provided
to provide it to the auditor. This will not be a query here if you had given the ledgers at the time. So the question is historical. Why would you fail to provide ledgers?
Chair, we have provided the ledgers, and that is why I'm even noting the committee's observation.
Why is this issue flagged if they
So there's one entity between the county government and the auditor who's out to confuse the committee.
Yes.
One of you.
Yeah,
we
Chair.
tend to trust our auditors more than you, Governor.
Maybe if I can assist, the ledgers now have been provided, but they don't address the comparative figures.
They're in the process of review.
They're in the process of review.
Yes, as they audit the current year.
Okay, Governor, you want to say something?
Chair, but
I don't understand from your time, because I don't understand how ledgers would not be provided. What is the basis of the audit?
That is our
question.
constitution.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
what are you auditing then? You can't have an audit without the ledgers.
there was no ledgers to audit. That's why they say.
So then there was no audit.
The query is that at the point of audit, we don't provide the ledgers. Governor, we have just finished our audit at where I'm an accounting officer. And there are processes you go through. You have an opening meeting.
Yes.
There is a draft report. There's a management. There's conversations, even a closing meeting,
Yeah,
and
that's-
they tell you just
Yeah.
a minute that the following documents were not provided, and you just provide them during the audit. So when it was flagged at the point of audit, the person who should tell us why they were not provided, it is you. You cannot also be as confused as us.
Chair,
And you know, Governor,
Those
before
are
you
mis-
answer, when you look at section 32, I think of public audit under audit review period, is a very serious offense, and I hope your officer is nothing. I don't know which profession he is, because we might cite him for gross misconduct for not providing documentation. So what Senator Spoon is saying, before the audit report comes out, there was no ledgers. So Governor, who was it supposed to provide, who did not do their job?
Chair, the Auditor General will confirm to you. I don't know about other counties, but I'm the one who chairs the entry meeting for the audit. I'm the one who specifically follows up every accounting officer on the requests by the Auditor General. I'm sure you've done other counties and you can compare with how Nairobi is. And so I think on this one, they got concurrence later. But I'm the one who, and plus the closing meeting, especially this financial year, I'm the one who did all that.
You were present at the
Yes.
closing meeting.
The opening.
This issue was not there.
No, I think that was resolved.
Chair,
Even your committee report
Yes,
shows that the
Senator
letter was provided.
I think we discussed this even at the briefing level. Where the problem was is that the county was not following the prescribed format. That is why we are having this variance as far as the ledger is concerned. So it's up to the auditors to tell us whether that has been corrected or not, and also the review that you are supposed to follow up has been done.
Yes, Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. As I've had indicated, the system auditors are reviewing the specific ledgers at the moment.
So the ledgers now have been provided.
Yes,
The format.
yes. They have access to the system.
Chair, I tend to agree with Senator Spooner that either of the entities is trying to confuse us. Suppose initially the OAG was saying ledgers had not been provided, Governor insisted. So where are we? Is it
Maybe
there?
you just need to ask the auditor
When?
at the time of audit.
Yes, when?
That is the finding. The ledgers were not provided for audit verification at the point of audit.
So
When
and
were
they have it now.
When were they provided?
Thank you, Chair. So this is the report for 2023-2024. So as at that time, the ledgers were not presented. We are currently under the audit for 2024-2025. And as we review the current year status, we look back to the original, the opening balances, and they have to review the same before now we conclude on the current year's audit, which is currently ongoing.
So maybe the only thing, members, so that we make progress, is to ask the governor why your officers didn't provide these ledgers. It's illegal. It's a contravention of the law not to provide the documents. And maybe we have our legal counsel, and maybe just read what it means when you don't provide documents. Is it possible we to do that now?
Yes.
We are also on a learning curve, and did you cite that section? It's 62?
Section 62(1)(b) and C of the Public Audit Act. A person shall not be, without justification, failed to provide information required under this Act, and C, without justification, failed to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act. And subsection 2, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both.
So, Governor, what we just need is justification.
Chair, no one would be justified not to provide a document. I think the issue had been the format of the documentation. But our accountants have subscribed to that law and to accounting standards. They are members of this path. There's no way an officer would, I think it's unconscionable for that to have happened, Chair. I think the issue was
now that Governor, how they say it happened, you must undertake administrative action on the officers who are supposed to provide the documents in time and give that evidence
and have a discussion with the auditor to confirm.
Yes.
Because I doubt that...
No, Governor, no. You know, we would trust our auditors more than maybe even you. So, if the auditors are saying the documents are not provided, it cannot turn that they are provided.
But Senator Tulo herself has said that the issue was format in your briefing. And then when we came for audit queries, the committee commented that the ledger is provided.
But Chair, I think so. The governor is questioning how the audit query was raised, because he is insisting the ledgers were provided, but the audit queries, the ledgers were not provided.
In fact, the heading of the query is failure to provide ledgers. Now, auditor. But I would say it's unconscionable not to provide the documents. The finding of the auditor is that there are no ledgers provided.
And even, Chair, the question has been specific that from the on-source revenue, 12 revenue streams from the ledger, totaling to 10.5 billion plus, whose ledgers were not provided for audit verification. So even the auditor was specific on the number of ledgers plus the revenue streams of 10.5 billion. So I think there needs to be a clarity there. Even if we are moving to cash basis from a toll or standards, then there must be clarity. And I think since governor sits in most of these entry and exit meetings, then the question is, where is the problem? Because by the time the OAT, you have sat with the OAT in the meeting, in the draft, in management report, then they come and raise in the OAT query. So are you questioning how the query was formed?
Yeah, Governor, I'm querying that. Because if you look even at your committee proposal, you're saying that the county should expedite the process of updating and presenting the ledgers in the format prescribed by the public sector accounting. It's an issue of, I think the query should be failure to provide ledgers in prescribed format, but not a blanket failure to provide ledgers. And that's something I'll challenge.
I think, Senator, if I'm to just maybe read our recommendation, it read, county should expedite the process of updating and presenting their ledgers. And they should be in the format. So they should be provided, they should be presented, because they are not presented. And even as they are presented, they should be presented in the format.
Right? Yeah, you put a comma that doesn't exist in your recommendation. The recommendation is the county should expedite the process of updating and presenting the ledgers in the format prescribed. The issue is the format.
Chair, can you make a ruling? Because the OAG is saying they have not seen it, they have seen it now, the governor is questioning the audit query. So can you rule so that we move to other things?
No, personally I would agree with the finding of the auditor that the ledgers are not provided. And our recommendation, we will just put that comma there, that the county should provide the ledgers. And the auditor is saying that the system is being audited. Let's finish that system audit. Let's get a report. And for the governor, there must be some administrative action for that person who delayed in providing the ledgers. Let's go to budgetary control and performance. Auditor, this is just a generic issue, an accounting issue. You can keep it in view for the current audit. And resolve prior matters. This is on our side, isn't it? So we can let that one go. And we keep it in view. Failure to prepare and submit Nairobi City County Revenue Authority financial statements. failure to prepare, audit them. What is still outstanding? Have the statements now been provided? Where are we?
This issue is still outstanding, Chair, and the act has not been implemented, so there is no board yet. Thank you.
The act has not been implemented, so the act is there. Governor, the act is there. It has not been implemented. That's why there are no statements.
Yeah, operationalization of that revenue authority had taken some time, Chair, and so there was nothing to provide. We had appointed a chair.
What is the current status?
We're still in the process now of hiring a CEO and secondly staff to the NRA. We found them, office space, and so while there are staff who are operating there, they're still the revenue staff under the county. So we'll now move and transition, get others externally, and maybe second others from the county to that new authority, the revenue authority. I remember this act was passed in 2021.
So that now we can use our time effectively.
Yeah.
If it has not been operationalized, we don't need to belabor on the issue.
Yeah, there are no statements, but
just a quick observation. In this, there was an approved budgetary allocation, and you know when budget is approved of 550 million. So what will become of it? And number two, I've seen you did appoint a chairperson in 2023 who was to serve in 1 year.
Okay,
so what do you have to say on that approved budget?
Yes.
What is the effect of that?
The budget was not expended.
So do you have...
There was a provision for if we had operationalized it at that year for the operations. But we had the chair, we have a board with representatives from different sectors, including the public. But the operations of revenue are still within, at that time are still within the department.
No, Governor, I agree with the other lip of the parts.
Yeah.
550 million, this is an approved budget.
But budget doesn't mean expenditure. There was a provision for it. It was not
expended.
Of course, yeah.
Where is the proof?
The statement, the audit. The audit will show you that there was no money expended.
It was
not used.
You know, Chair, with budgeted corruption in this country, we must be very careful. So I yield back.
Interesting. But Governor, let me just know, because now that is coming up. Collect revenue in Nairobi.
Yes.
You require approximately 550 million. Well, that's what is given for them.
Yeah, you need even more. If operationalizing a revenue authority, you need to hire people, you need... already as it is, the department has a budget. There's staff, there's salaries, there's vehicles, there is gadgets, the queries, the machines used to check parking meters, the tablets. The revenue collection is costly, but there's a return on it. So if you'd like us to itemize what the 550 was for, we can. But it was not extended. Rather, the budget of the sector continued being used within the Department of Finance, Chair.
Since it is not flagged as a query, I think I'll let it rest there. That is the amount. So we go to here audit matters. Use of personal email address for official government communication. What is not addressed, Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. We are still using the personal email addresses for official communication.
Governor, do you know it is illegal to use personal email addresses?
No, I didn't know it's illegal. I thought it's just wrong. There's a law that says it's a crime. And there have been times of downtime.
Just give me an opportunity to ask the auditor. Why did you flag it as a query? Because it's saying it's not illegal, it is
use of personal email exposes an entity, because sometimes access to personal emails can go overboard and the controls are also limited. Thank you.
Okay, Governor.
Yeah, that will resolve that. I think that is straightforward and it's not right.
Okay,
Chair, maybe before you move, there is an interesting observation by analysis of Nairobi pay system users. So why was the personal email of the governor linked to Nairobi pay system users?
I am a user.
So why is it linked to your personal email?
I don't know. I can check that.
Because that is the genesis of this query, Governor. Chair. Or the governor wants to control how money is being collected, or he wants to have a view?
I must view, I'm the CEO. I must see how much, even now I can show you how much has come in this
You
unit.
don't have an official email?
I do. But Chair, in terms of being able to view, right now I can tell you how many parkings are on this road, how many people are paid in the market.
Governor, I think we're losing the question.
Yes.
The question is, and if you see what the auditor is saying, for instance, if somebody is accessing that system using a personal email and they leave the organization, you know, that is the danger of the data. That
I agree with what
these systems are not personal to us.
Yes.
Today you are in office, tomorrow you might not be there. That is the danger that the auditor is raising. You can still be able to do those beautiful things you're talking about, seeing how much has been collected where, using an official government email. You can still do that.
I agree.
And why specific Nairobi pay? Not other, why are you monitoring what revenue?
Yeah,
why not hospitals?
Should I see Nandi pay? It's in Nairobi.
No, Chair, the governor has been condescending against Nandi.
No, but you ask me about Nairobi. Of course, I have to see Nairobi's relevant.
The question is very simple, Governor. Why would you be keen on Nairobi pay? You should just give an explanation without being.
I'm keen on Nairobi because I'm the governor of Nairobi.
No, but the OAG has questioned why are you using your personal emails?
Not me. I'm not in this audit query. Why you
personalizing? No, it is saying here it was configured to use personal email, and you are the CEO. And you have even on this answer, you have said,
as the audit of
Governor, can you hold on through the chair? You have yourself say, I can access, you have accepted.
Of course.
So the question is, why are you using your personal email instead of official email?
I am not using my personal email. I use the
so you are recanting your earlier
governor at Nairobi.go.ke. That is the one I use.
So you are not.
There are certain people who have been on personal. I agree it is wrong and it should not continue. I don't see why we're belaboring. I agree with auditor. It's a risk. It's a risk. I agree.
So, by the way, you know, we are very active listeners, and that is why Governor is saying he wants to be and he uses personal email. So I'm happy he has regarded by saying he's not using personal email, but the governor's email.
So that does it?
Yes. That is what he's just saying. But also include other areas apart from Nairobi Pay. Include Bagati and many other areas.
I see all of them. Every revenue stream, every hospital, every stream in Nairobi, I see.
We make progress, yeah.
Even the Mocha.
Let's go to revenue collection account registered under the Kenya Revenue Authority. Auditor, what is still sitting there?
Thank you, Chair. The specific account was closed in June 2024. Thank you.
Does that resolve it?
Yes.
Okay, if it resolves it, it's addressed. Okay. So that issue is resolved. Secretariat. Irregularities in the revenue collection system. 4.1 ownership and control of the Nairobi Pay system. What was the query, auditor? And where are we now?
Thank you, Chair. The issue of concern was the specific terms and conditions of the service, including features, limitations, and support obligations. Then we have the legal rights and obligation of both parties, especially in case of disputes or breaches. Then provisions on how the service provider ensures confidentiality, security measures, handles and protects personal data in ensuring compliance with Data Protection Act 2019, intellectual property rights to clarify ownership of the intellectual property developed during the service, and service levels including uptime guarantees, response times, and remedies for compliance. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, where do you find all these? Maybe in an agreement?
Yeah, there's agreement, software as a service.
Where is it?
As recommended, it's attached, as recommended by this committee, Chair, in the last audit. All that
was it there during the time of audit?
Let me have my answer.
Chair,
it was there. Why was it provided?
Chair, it was there, and when we were doing these audit queries here, what was discovered is that it had some missing pages, and we were directed by the chair that we provide to the auditor the full document, because that was just a printing error, and we immediately provided that.
Auditor, when you reviewed it, what do you have to say about that? Were all these questions answered?
Thank you, Chair. We had the same reviewed by the system auditors who are also looking into the system, and a few issues had remained outstanding and verified. And this.
Which ones are they?
The legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system, the data protection provisions applicable to the service providers in compliance with the Data Protection Act 2019, the agreed service levels, uptime guarantees, response times and remedies for non-compliance, ownership and intellectual property rights relating to the Nairobi Pay system, and contractual rights and obligations of each party in case of disputes or breaches. Thank you.
Governor, first of all, where is that 4.1? I can't find it in your, the annex.
Fourth last.
Huh?
The fourth from last.
Where is it cited? 4.1. Where is it cited?
In the response to this query, they have referred to a technical support framework. The contract that she's talking about, we should be able to see it.
It's here. Chair, maybe the clerk can show the senator. Appendix 4.1.
So I can see 4A, 4B, 4C. I can't see 4.1.
I can see the chair. These are no problem between. This 4.1 as Senator Spooner is. This agreement is between ICT Ministry and Nairobi County.
You know, Governor, we have had these discussions every time you come to the Senate on who exactly owns this system. The agreement you have annexed here is between the Ministry of ICT and Nairobi County. So to address the questions that the auditor is raising, you send us to the specific clauses. And when I hear stories of pages missing, I'm usually very suspicious. Just if possible, because the specific clauses are listed there in the audit query. Which pages can we see this?
Chair, in page 3, you see the purpose of the technical support framework. And then in page 4, you're going to get the scope, which addresses the issues of uptime and security issues. And that continues to page 5 and also page 6.
So who owns this system?
Governor, who owns Nairobi Pay?
This is software as a service. Now we've contracted. This was a technical support framework. It's a government system. That end was ICTA. We have now further done our full contract beyond the technical support framework through the National Government Ministry. So it is software as a service.
There's a separate contract?
Yes. But that was not this financial year. It is now a contract that was tendered and procured.
So who owns it?
I don't know how else to describe that. Can you just explain the vendor? You can explain the vendor through
Are you unable to satisfy the auditor on the issues of the legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system?
For this financial year, the technical support framework was the basis on which we did it. I'm saying we've subsequently been able to contract and can provide that contract. The specifics should be provided by the receiver of revenue. But it is not a... And I remember when you came, I explained the history of Nairobi Pay. Yeah, you remember, during the NMS time, a system was developed at the time that KRA was collecting revenue for Nairobi County through NMS. That was done by the former, administration. That system kept on being developed. That time, those officers were the ones who were at Miami. They did Sasa. It's the same team that created all these systems at that time. And so when you got in, many private sector vendors come and say, I want to collect revenue for you, I want to collect, but I was hesitant. Was to move into a private sector vendor. So that time we said, look, can you give us, can you onboard the system that has been used, that has been created by government? The same way, there's a move by actually saying to have one system for counties, which ideally would have become that system. And so to be able to have the technical support later is when we did this support framework with the ministry. We opted to have them give it a software as a service instead of handing over a system to the city. Yeah, because software as a service was recommended here by the chairman of this committee. And so we moved into that technical support framework, and now we've subsequently contracted that entity.
Governor, on page 6 of that agreement, it talks about finances. Unfortunately for us, we are discussing a contract that is essentially overtaken by another, right?
Yeah.
So how much do we pay as Nairobians for this system? Because here it doesn't even say. It says a revenue share model. Is that still the case?
Yes, it should be 4%, 4.5%.
That's not a revenue share model. A revenue share model would say we take 30%, we take 70%.
No, we pay 4.5%. That is what we pay. For administration, for running the software, for updating it, for as a system.
So we pay to who?
Now we've contracted Konza. Who? Konza Technopolis. So ICT authority, the Ministry of ICT says they are better to domicile it at Konza. The contract we have now is with Konza Technopolis, and that contract we can obey. So it's still an entity under the national government, but the 4.5% is what is paid for them to run the software as a service.
Chair, I have a lot of problems with this report, because the governor is saying there is no contract between the ministry or Nairobi Pay. But the reading of this technical support is that there is a contract between the Ministry of Information, ICT, and Nairobi City County. The issue on ownership has been answered in page 3 of 9, 1.3 purpose. It says the Nairobi Pay system is owned by the national government of Kenya and offered by Ministry of Information and Technology and used by Nairobi City County government in on-source revenue management. So the ownership is well captured, but my concern is looking at this, because the governor has not provided us with the contract he's talking about. Is this the same contract that? So who owns Nairobi Pay? Is it the national government?
You've just read it out, Senator. You've just answered it yourself.
No, but he has also he's saying there is a vendor who is outside the third party in his explanations.
No,
so I want him to be on record.
And it's not selling Konza. Is still outstanding.
Yeah, I will not finish finally.
Okay.
So that you summarize. Looking at the people who have signed here, I'm worried that there is somebody who is active. And
Where?
The last page.
The last page. Maybe even before we go to the last page, yeah? Auditor, we know now who owns Nairobi Pay. Okay. So even the intellectual property rights, we know who owns the Nairobi page. Are you satisfied with that?
Thank you, Chair. We had an IT auditor on the ground on the scene, the one who gave the status.
Confirm this?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's prudent that would have him a chance. The concern was also just the flow of how it came about, because the genesis of, yes, it is owned by the national government, but the genesis of how it came about and how it was moved from the national government, there was a concern of maybe meeting deliberations on the same. Yeah, but he's still working on, the team is still working on it, and we'll give a report on the same.
So, Governor, I think you need to work with the auditors so that, yes?
Just, unless my memory is failing me, Governor, the first time this conversation happened, I think it was in this same committee, in the first year. And I remember you telling us that this system is now fully hosted by us, that you can go and show me where the servers are. How did it go to Konza? Unless I don't understand how this thing works.
Yeah, that was what we wanted. We wanted to actually have it where servers. Because this staff of national government, remember there was a mess where you have staff of national government working at the county, working with the county. If you look at the background on page 2, it talks about cabinet sitting of May 2018, where they approved the joint national resource mapping using multi-agency approach. So we wanted them to fully hand it over to us, the national government. But when we did that analysis, and this committee actually recommended that it's actually better to get it as software as a service. It will, we don't have to think about many of the running costs of the system. And so that is why we agreed now to engage the national government, to contract them, for them to run it for us. So that if they need to upgrade the servers, if they need to change whatnot, they can do it. But that was the initial intention when we got into office. So please just leave it here with us, hand it over, let the county run it on its own. You recommended that software as a service is the best, I'm sure the clerk can remember. The chairman, is very good in ICT and system related issues. Yeah. And that's the recommendation we followed. On this financial year with a technical support framework, now we have a full contract that we contracted them we procured and contracted the ministry through now Conza Technopolis.
So I think
whatever further is required, and they are doing the audit, we've given the entire background, and this document has the entire history and how it has come to, if there's any additional document required, we'll give.
So I think cooperate with the auditors who are on the ground now, give all the information that is required, including the whatever they want, whatever they need.
By the way, Chair, for the information of the Auditor General, there was an entire inquiry by the Nairobi County Assembly into our revenue system, but the report disappeared somewhere. If you are able to find it, please give me a copy. Because somehow that report has never been tabled in the Assembly, and it doesn't make any sense for us.
Chair, I just wanted to point out, as you I noticed the last issue.
Yes.
Until that report disappeared between the Speaker's office and the table, but we get that report, don't worry.
So before
Chair,
you ask,
before
ask that, Governor just cooperated with the auditors, the ongoing audit, so that we are able to answer all the questions.
They have full access.
Involving the Nairobi.
Yeah, it was on the
agreement. You will ask. You will ask.
Okay.
Yes, you'll ask.
And actually, just to point out, remember the Parliament has been it has been unequivocal in the need for having these systems domiciled within government, because there were a lot of private sector vendors. I'm sure you look at other counties and the systems that they're operating, this is more solid as a government system. But I think that is up to the different counties that you audit and the systems they're trying to use. This is not a private sector vendor, this is not a private individual, this is government to government, which is more secure. You remember there had been an attempt which was resisted at the Council of Governors to have one revenue system for counties. If that was to happen, it would be this system that has been developed by government. And the reason why, for us, it is very useful. Remember, I've told you the highest revenue earner for counties is land rates. If I go into the system today and put in an LR number, I'll get all the history. We have what we call APIs between the Ministry of Lands, between Survey of Kenya. That is information you will not get from a private vendor. If I put in your number plate, because of parking. Immediately, it tells me this car is owned by Jones Maruma, this is his phone number, and I send you a message. You will not do that with a private vendor, as you should. So there is actually, it's prudent, and there's good synergy, when you use this system that requires identification. Just by your name and your ID, I'll get your unique identifier. I can be able to get information for KRA purposes or for our own purposes, on property, on vehicles, on identification. And that is the move that Treasury had been trying to do throughout the country. We're the only county that has actually now subscribed to this as a system within government. Because we see no value. I see less value with a private sector vendor who doesn't have the synergies, the data sets, the access to information that is domiciled within government. Yeah. That was just for further information.
For all the queries under 4.1, 4.2, that is hosting, 4.3, let's just keep them in view, auditor, so that in the subsequent audit we give, we get more information. Senator,
just on this signing, under the architect of devolution and the county governments, county secretary is a very important person. Why would an acting county secretary sign this document?
Why not? Where is that?
On the agreement.
On the agreement, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you still have this same person acting?
He was active at that point. That's why he signed it. In that year, we sent a proposal to the assembly. The county secretary must be passed by the county assembly, which we did send a proposal that was rejected at that point. We've now set up another selection panel, and we wrote to the county speaker under Section 44A of the County Government Act, and as well as Section 58 that provides for the County Public Service Board and the County Secretary. That's an ongoing process.
So there is a substantive county secretary?
No, there's another one acting.
So don't you think it is very dangerous to have somebody acting in office to sign?
No, that officer is also substantively a chief officer. It's not a stranger. That is a substantive public officer.
He is, but he's signing here as a county secretary, and he's a custodian of correspondence and communication.
So maybe, Chair, you can. I don't know what the senator is recommending. So we should not sign.
You should ask your county, what do you call, Irene?
To sign.
No, not to sign, to advise, because these are very critical documents. Because somebody who is acting, when you have somebody substantive, a problem might arise down the law.
They take responsibility.
That is why even, Chair, in this committee and in Parliament, we don't even entertain somebody acting in office to appear before us.
Please.
And from this so is there a breakthrough with your county assembly that you might get
Senator Sakaja is to be maintained the Labour Committee and as the Vice Chair. So some of these things you should ask for a particular period, then you are confirmed. But during that time when you are acting,
you're in charge.
Take responsibility.
Even if there's an acting chair of this committee.
Yes.
Chair, I think governor is taking these issues casually. I'm concluding. I think he's taking these things casually. We know the importance of somebody who is a substantive office holder to sign a document. So my concern is, is there a breakthrough? You will get a substantive county secretary?
Yeah, there is.
When?
That is what I've just explained, Chair.
So most likely,
I don't need to repeat. I've explained that Person 244A and 58 of the County Government Act, they're written to the Speaker to set up a selection panel that will do this. The Public Service Board, 2 members. Section 44 says with necessary modification. The Speaker says it's not necessary for me to write. So we have a correspondence between us on that issue. We will substantially fill the office of the County Secretary, County Public Service Board, County Attorney. That's an ongoing process, Chair.
I remember just doing that. Please just go on record. Commissioner.
Yes, Komo Mogeni, Senator of Nyamira, and a member of this committee.
Let's just look at one on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management, and governance. You can look at one item, number 2, auditor, inaccurate taxpayers data. What were you querying, and what is the situation now? inaccurate taxpayers' data, auditor. Did you get that? It is in the report on
Thank
the...
you, Chair.
Yes, yes.
The land rates records within the Nairobi P were found to have missing information. We had some that did not have the debtor's name in the parcel's number, and some had system-generated customer's number missing. Thank you.
Yes, Governor.
Chair, the county government of Nairobi embarked on a data cleansing exercise to ensure accurate completeness and validity of our customers' data in information systems, which is part of what I've explained, the APIs of the ministry, the land records, KRA records, etc. The exercise is still ongoing, and owing to the multiplicity of revenue streams in the county, a committee appointed to spearhead the exercise started with the land rates, and thereafter shall move to the other streams. The team has made major strides, and all identified gaps and issues are being addressed as per copies of minutes of meetings attached. There's an appendix on the report on data cleansing committee activities, appendix 17. That committee is chaired by the chief officer, Smart Nairobi. We have the then chief officer revenue administration, our valuers, director of rates survey, system administrators, Nairobi Pay officers, and revenue officers chair. There's an ongoing process. You must keep updating your data. Just the same with the ministry also continues to do it. Sometimes people do subdivisions, and so one land parcel becomes two, or there's an amalgamation. Sometimes there's a sale of land, so the rate pair becomes somebody different. So it's a continuous exercise, Chair, that must continue being done. Harmonization of nomenclature of parcel number. You remember, Chair, that there was a move from the block numbers and parcel numbers, and so the records within the county, of course, then need to be updated to those new numbers on RD SASA. So it's a continuous process, and there's a report that I have attached that shows the different steps that we undertook and continue to undertake.
Auditor, is this something you can keep in view in the ongoing audit?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I think we can just look at that as the report on effectiveness and risk management. Now, members, I think you can end it here. We can have closing remarks here. Anyone, if you have, on my right, closing remarks, you can donate to Central Nairobi. Central Nairobi, yeah. For us.
Yeah, I think these interactions are useful, Governor. We have seen the challenge that you have thrown to us in terms of the legislative push that we need to have, especially in the delegated legislations. We are doing our part as a Senate as well. And for your team, what we require most is actually transparency in these revenue collection systems. And that transparency, we must allow the auditor to do their jobs, the assembly to do their jobs. Let there not be accusations of interference in the works of the assembly or the auditor, so that there is proper transparency. And whereas we note the increment in the on-source revenue collection, we still are way below the potential for Nairobi. So if we are able to get this money, you've said it yourself, that's the outstanding amount in land rates alone. If we are able to get that, many of our programs would actually be completed. So thank you, Chair, for the time. I always appreciate when the Governor of Nairobi is in the Senate, that we allow the people of Nairobi to get answers. The reason the last time I was very frustrated is because we were not getting answers from the Governor, yet he was there to answer issues of Nairobi. I don't have a problem with a senator from Nandi asking questions, because he is a senator for the Republic, but also they should allow the people of Nairobi to get the answers they need from their leadership. And that is why, Honorable Chair, the last session, once we feel that we are not getting the correct answers from the Governor, then there is no point of the conversation. But at least today, there are answers that have come forth from the county government. I thank you.
Have I assisted in getting those answers?
Yes, Chair. You are not like the Governor who likes to be praised because of doing their job. but you have done well.
Out of order. Governor, your closing remarks?
Chair, thank you. I appreciate this interaction, and I want to thank all the senators for their time. I always say devolution really is the best gift that we give ourselves as a country in our constitution. It needs to be guarded, and it needs to be effected prudently. Chair, we acknowledge various challenges that we found in the counties. And remember, despite other administrative arrangements that have been there in the city, they have not gone even above 10 billion shillings. Chair, in the last 3 years, I am proud of my team that we've always broken the revenue record. At the first year going to 10.5, going to 11, 12 billion, and this last year 13.8 billion. This year we target 20 billion, and it's not a blind target. We know where we're going to get it from, including regularization of unauthorized developments that are started, and a stronger pursuit of property rates defaulters. Chair, we really would want the Senate to support the issue of the rating tribunal and operationalization of the National Rating Act 2024. That law is a very timely piece of legislation. Chair, world over, cities like Nairobi, capital cities, important hubs, have the biggest of their collections through property taxes. We don't want to burden, but we're saying if everybody paid their share, we would then be able to have the kind of capital that all of us want, a city that is working, a city of order, of dignity, a city that has proper transport systems, a city that has proper roads, drainage, solid waste management. All of that must be paid for if everybody just carried their fair share of the burden. So Chair will be looking for support. At the last meeting that I was here, we proposed to the Committee of Devolution that I do a paper to the Senate that just outlines what we've been able to see, even given my legislative background and now as a governor, that can help us, because I think everybody wants a working capital city. So I want to thank you for your indulgence. I want to thank the Auditor General. This team plays a very important role. We have had very open interactions at the county. Chair, remember, for the first 5 years of devolution, Nairobi's audit report was disclaimer of opinion. Disclaimer. That disclaimer means it's just, there's nothing to look at. That was 2013 to 2017. From 2017 to 2022, it was adverse reports in the city. Of course, I got as governor as 2022, and now we've had our first qualified opinions, and we'll always strive for a better opinion by implementing recommendations of prior audits. Chair, that move for me is not 100% of where we want to be, but you must always see the progress that we've made over the years, because Nairobi is a huge institution, 19,000 staff. It's a big institution. So I want to thank this committee and the Senate for this session. I also want to thank the clerks of this committee, the technical teams here, the treasury, the lawyer, my good friend, who is a very useful gentleman, Kibet. You have a good team that I will praise them for doing their work, because they do it diligently, and also the Fourth Estate for their patience. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Governor, for coming.
And sorry, I forgot, and also my team. I must thank you, in as much as I've done most of the speaking, but I'm proud of what you've been able to achieve. Next time, Chair, we will have them all, talk about the part. But Tyrus has done a good job. Remember, this is the first time we've had a receiver of revenue, and for a young man to come from outside government and to get into that seat of Nairobi, receiver of revenue, is great stride. So thank you, Chair. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Governor, for appreciating that you have such a gargantuan task on your back, bestowed on your back, to make sure that Nairobi works, as you have rightly said it. It would require a lot of collaboration between yourself and other sector players, the national government, and building a strong team to work with. For us here, we just want the people for Nairobi to get services, and I know we have indicated that the budget targets, the revenue targets are 63 billion. You are 12 billion. I know you're putting your target at 20 billion, and the potential that you've told us, which is there under the Sexual Properties Act, I think that's something you can leverage on, so that you're able to collect adequate money for to meet that target. Governor, I would want to say that I like your idea of barrows. If progressively you're able to implement that, then I know would make Nairobi work. Members, I think it's a good time to end this session. We will adjourn until Monday, at 9:30, where we would have which entity? Kericho County Executive. So the meeting is adjourned until 9:30 on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.